Hello, Thunder Wizards. Okay, so it's important that you watch this entire video because at the end of this video, I'm going to be telling you how you can use death specifically. I'm going to give you a very specific shamanic exercise that will allow you to understand how to use this power of death to manifest your deepest desires, your greatest dreams, and more importantly, using death to destroy the blocks between you and your greatest fulfillment. So it's important you watch the whole video to know how to use that shamanic exercise. Before we do that, I need to help you understand or explain to you my understanding with this concept. Now, this is, as you can tell by the title, I'll be very interested to see if this becomes a popular video or not, because this is probably the most antithetical title. I don't know that there's any other title out there. I should do a search. Using death to manifest. Because here's the reality of it. If you're on here wanting to learn how to manifest, usually you're here because you believe you need more money, you need more love, you need more something. And so you want me to give you a magic tool so that you can manifest what it is you think you want. Because the truth of the matter is, if you didn't have any problems manifesting, if you could manifest whatever you wanted and you needed by snapping your fingers, you wouldn't be watching this video. So if you're watching this video, it's because you need something. So I want you to tap into that feeling of need. And again, this goes opposite from what you're being spoon-fed by those who really aren't trying to help you become independent. They are trying to make you dependent upon them so that you'll keep coming back and paying for the seminars and keep eating the cotton candy. It tastes good, but it rots your teeth out. And that cotton candy is, everything is love and light, and it's all good. And if you can just focus on the good, that sells. It sells. It sells everything. So here I am telling you, in order to gain the most life, you have to understand and embrace death. And your desire to find the money, to find the love, to find the whatever is really coming from your fear of death. You're trying to stave off death. When death, from a shamanic perspective, is your greatest ally. I teach this a lot, and it's the fundamental philosophy of my life and my teaching, which came from my ancestral background. The pre-Christian Germanic tribes believed that those who died in battle went to Valhalla, which is just their way of saying those who are willing to die for what is most important to them in every moment will achieve liberation, will achieve enlightenment. But it's also true in terms of achieving what you want in life. If you want success, if you want financial success, if you want love, if you want health, you must be willing to die for what you want. You must not be afraid of death. And it is the fear of death that drives people to hoard, to become greedy. And who listening to me doesn't honestly fantasize about becoming a millionaire overnight? I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't fantasize about that. I go through the same things you do on a daily basis. And when I see somebody, who becomes just, crazy rich overnight, and I think, gosh, I wish I had that. What would I do with that money? And then I follow that thought process, because here I am. I'm in Australia, and I am right across the street from a really great surfing beach. In terms of crowds. We get almost no crowds here in terms of surfing, so there's all kinds of, which is usually a problem. Good surfing spots in California get really crowded, and it's beautiful. This house right here is a 3-bedroom house on the beach. It's far more than I need. And I still, like you, fantasize about, gosh, what if I was a millionaire? And then I go, well, if I was a millionaire, what would I do differently? Would I rent a mansion and then I'd have 4 or 5 rooms that I can't use? Would I, instead of driving a rented brand new SUV, would I be driving a Mercedes SUV? It's just, it wouldn't change anything. How many beds can you sleep in at one time? How many cars can you drive at one time? How many cups of tea can you drink at one time? How many phones can you talk to at one time? How many televisions can you watch at one time? You only need so much. Anything beyond that is a waste. Our ancestors, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, had a completely different understanding about the universe. They knew that the universe provided them on a daily basis for what they needed. If you went out hunting for buffalo or whatever it is that you hunted, let's take buffalo, and you needed to feed the tribe, you go out and you hunt one buffalo, that's going to do it. You come back with that one buffalo carcass, that's going to take care of the needs of your tribe. And you would immediately butcher it and, prepare the meat and, take the skins and do whatever it is that you did with that. Now, what we do now, and this is, what we did, in the States, is as soon as Europeans showed up, instead of killing one buffalo, they'd kill 100. And then they'd take the skins and leave the carcasses just to rot there on the prairie. And so for our ancient ancestors, the idea of taking more than you needed, it wasn't some spiritual thing like now it's this spiritual thing, don't use more than what you need. And it's not about that. It was just about if you had more than one buffalo, dead buffalo sitting outside your camp, you can't use that. That meat is going to go bad, and it's going to attract animals, and it's going to attract flies and rats and disease. It would be stupid. You wouldn't do that to yourself. But this is what happens when you want more than what will bring you happiness. Prosperity is having more than you need at the moment. That's all prosperity is. So if you need 5 things and you have 6, you're prosperous. If you need 5 things and you have 100, you're not any more prosperous. In fact, that weighs on you. People want to own a house. I was having this discussion the other day, and I sat down and we talked about it. And the idea of wanting to own a house is the need to want to stave off death. Why? Because the idea that you own a house means you own this equity in the house, and it builds up over time. But here's the truth of the matter. Unless you have just a buttload of money that you can buy with cash a house outright, you're going to have to borrow money from a bank. Now, the only difference between renting from somebody and owning is who you pay every month to be able to live in your house. If you're renting, you're paying a landlord, and the landlord takes the responsibility to fix all the problems. If there are too many problems in the house, you pick up and move. It doesn't cost you anything. The landlord has to go in and pay money to repair whatever it needs repairing. If you own a house, quote unquote, you are renting from the bank. And you are responsible to fix all the problems of the house. The bank isn't going to come and fix your plumbing if the plumbing goes out, even though you're paying the bank rent. Yeah, eventually you're going to end up owning that house, but It's like owning a car. I mean, I don't even own vehicles anymore. I'll only lease. If I'm back in the States, I'll only lease. Because once you get past that 3 years, you've gone past all of the free maintenance that comes with a vehicle. And now you're responsible to take care of it. And now that it's depreciated, so all of the value is gone. You think about it. So owning things, the idea of owning things because you're staving off death, is really working against you. So living with the understanding that death is always there, that you could lose your life at any moment, you could lose your relationship at any moment, you could lose your job at any moment, you could lose your health at any moment. The understanding of that, and that there is nothing you can do to prevent the eventual arrival of death. There's nothing you can do about it. It will happen. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. Let me give you another example, and I've seen this now. I'm old enough to have watched this happen. I'm looking back on my adult life, and up until recently, I was always struggling financially, always. In fact, what is this, 2019? As early as 2016. As early as 2016, I was living in a one-room, not like a one-bedroom, but a one-room little house in somebody's backyard. And I mean, I could basically lie on my bed and touch everything that I needed. I could touch the kitchen, I could touch my desk. The room was right there. The only thing I had to walk 2 steps to go around the corner to the bathroom, but it was just this tiny little place. And I was comfortable. I had everything that I needed. The only thing I didn't like about it was that I was far away from the beach. And that was my main concern there. But that gives you an idea. That's kind of been what it's like pretty much throughout my adulthood. I've always been very, poor. And it wasn't until recently that I was able to change all of that. And I changed all of it when I stopped fearing everything. When I stopped acting from fear and grasping, and the mindset of I don't have enough creates its own circle of dependency. You never get out of that. And it won't matter how much you get. As long as you have the understanding that you don't have enough, it never will be enough. And so I learned that in order to be comfortable, I really didn't need that much money. And I saw, to get back to what I was saying earlier, I've seen a lot of my friends that I grew up with do the traditional thing where they go out and they get some career and they work a job. I mean, I think about it now. One of the things that I've always done throughout my life, especially, after my 20s and 30s, I stopped working crazy hours. And I made the decision a while ago that, I don't like working crazy hours. I just don't like having my whole life be about my work. The hours that you spend grinding away. I made the decision that I was not going to do that anymore. And I said, if that means that I have to, live in tiny little apartments for the rest of my life, I don't care. At least I will have control over my time, and I'll be able to do what I want when I want. The freedom to do that to me was more important than anything else. Now, what I didn't understand then is I could have all of the finances that I needed and wanted and still have all the free time that I want. I have that now. I don't do anything I don't want to do. And I have everything that I need. And then some. So I've watched a lot of my friends who did the traditional thing, and they got themselves into some career, and they spent 40, 50 hours a week slaving away, and a lot of them did the typical thing. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say that at least half, and maybe even more than that, at least half of the people that I run into who have kids are doing so because they think that's what a good person does. A good person has a home and has the 2.5 kids, and their whole identity is surrounded by this idea of, well, when am I going to have kids? I mean, especially with women. Even now, in this supposed, futuristic time, women still have this need to have kids so they can look good. Oh my gosh, I'm already 30 years old and I don't have any kids. I got to hurry up and have kids. Why? Because you want to look good. You want to look like everybody else. Have the kids, have the rich husband, or and the husband are the same. I gotta get the money and have the house and get the boat and then by the time they're my age, they're so old, because they have squandered their life energy into attaining some idea of status. And it's not coming from, I'm so proud of who I am. It's just, I want to be accepted by society. It's, and then your life is gone. And you're doing a bunch of things you didn't want to do, and you have kids that you didn't really want, which creates kids who feel like they're not enough. So, I would recommend that everybody live the way I do and the way I have, which is I want to live in such a way where I don't resent what I have to do to go through the day. And it blows my mind, the amount of work that I do for the abundance that I have in my life. So this is one of the things that we need to do, is to embrace the fear of death. You have to really allow death to have his place, which is that what death wants to bring you is absolute joy, the ability to live in the moment and appreciate everything that you have. And there's nothing like death that will bring that. So, this is the A video. There is a B video, which I believe is 23. 23B video for the Manifestation Mastery course. So, I told you that I was going to give you a shamanic exercise so that you could use the power of death to actually refine and bring immediate results to your manifestation. I'm going to walk you through that shamanic exercise in the next video. The next video is the 23B video. And in order to get to that video, you want to go to neo.thunderwizard.com and click on the fourth tool, or you can just go straight to thunderwizard.com and click on the Manifestation Mastery course. The 23B video will be there, and the meditation and exercise, which will give you immediate access to the power of death to create your perfect life. I will walk you through that exercise, okay? So go to thunderwizard.com and click on Manifestation Mastery course, and then watch the 23B video, okay? I'll see you over there.